Okay, let's go. Welcome. How is everyone doing today? We are back
Back.
with episode number 15. And
Yay.
I don't know if you can guess what we're talking about today.
I think we're going to talk about Christmas.
Wow, that'll definitely be part of it. So welcome to Two Plant-Based Brothers. My name is William the Teacher. This is my brother
Daniel and Water, Beard on the Trail with the Santa hat.
with the Santa hat. That's right. So coming up next week will be Christmas Day, and we're here to talk about lots of different things on this channel, but our journeys and everything that we've gone through, and then sometimes how it relates to our my mostly plant-based diet or Daniel's plant-based diet. So let's talk about Christmas time and
Let's do it.
traditions.
Let's
So,
do it. Let's dive in.
you know, Daniel, what's your first like memory of Christmas? How far back can you remember?
I see that this is a weird. I do this thing with memory where sometimes I have a memory, but really it's a video like from VHS, right?
Yeah.
Or pictures that I was in. So I don't know, to be honest with you. I'll just say my favorite memory, or maybe not favorite memory, but one that comes first off the top of my head was those little people and getting a little airplane with the little people that
Yeah.
mom became obsessed with her grandchildren in
Hmm.
particular. And if mom you're watching, it was a true obsession. I think she still has an obsession because she gets little people for other people's kids now.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a little airplane set. That's kind of like one of my first memories, and I remember playing with it in the living room. I don't know how old I would have been for little people. How about you?
No, I mean, if I think about my memories, it's just like when I was young, and I don't think that you were old enough to really remember the LA days, you
No.
know, of Christmas Eve being in upon Grandma Nowotnik's apartment
Mhm.
and having sometimes someone would come over. I don't know if it was Gerard or someone would come over dressed as Santa. Don't know if I
Mhm.
remember that per se or if I was just told that, but I
Uh,
could definitely see that. And we are like singing Christmas tunes into
yeah.
like with a cassette playing, and I think another cassette recording it
Mhm.
into that, and Panawanik in the background, bah humbug, and then we'd wake up in the morning and we would have our Christmas morning, and then we would have Christmas dinner down the street at upon Grandma McCaffrey's, and have the McCaffrey clan over for that, and playing Uno. Probably maybe that was Thanksgiving, maybe it was Christmas too, but I can't remember everything. But that to me was those 4 days of being with everybody, you know,
Mhm.
was really cool to experience. And it's just tough, is most we scatter and we don't always aren't able to get together anymore, and
Right.
things happen. But that Christmas Eve was a wonderful time, and still is fabulous time, of the numbers game, of these kinds of different traditions we have. But what do we normally eat on Christmas Eve?
You know what? I don't remember anything traditional that I could recall. It was like, oh, we always have this on Christmas,
Hmm.
whether it be like a turkey or a ham or a pot roast or taco night, enchiladas, a big baked potato bar. I don't know. I feel like we've tried a lot of different things, and maybe especially in the last few years that
Yeah.
come to mind, but I don't remember anything traditional growing up.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, the little cocktail weenies were very popular, and I think they're still kind of popular at parties or something. But you'd have this big old Christmas Eve, people would come over, and the olders would drink it up, and there'd be little finger foods and things like that.
Hmm.
And those cocktail weenies and like barbecue sauce or something with take the toothpick,
Hmm.
and you get that. That was something. And then you know later on, I don't know what happened. I don't know what Grandma saw. This Grandma Nowotnik, Grandma Ginny, for those who know her, found something, a pigs in a blanket kind of recipe,
Hmm.
where these leftover cocktail weenies got rolled up into these crescent rolls,
Yeah.
and that became Christmas morning
Yeah,
breakfast, and that tradition continues on. This happened
correct.
sometime maybe when you were a brand new baby. I can't tell you when it started, right? And it continues on 40 years. We still
Yeah,
do this on Christmas morning, are
right.
the little Smokies, right?
Yeah, and
And
that's the only tradition food wise that I can recall because we're still doing it to this day,
yeah.
and we'll get into the plant-based version of it. But those were the biggest memories, especially the smell of the dough. I think being cooked in the oven, baked in the
Mhm.
oven, and then I guess the sausage as well, or the little weenies, and just that smell is nostalgic. It's memory of what Christmas morning is,
Mhm.
plain and simple.
Yeah, and it still is. And although, I've come on this show before and my mother has called me out for calling her out, I must make a correction that last Thanksgiving 2024, I did
Mhm.
not carve the bird. Okay. So she wanted me to clarify
Retraction.
that to everybody as a retraction on the Thanksgiving episode.
Mm.
However, Thanksgiving 2025, mom doesn't want me to tell this story. I told her I wouldn't tell it either. That her turkey breast didn't get done to her liking. So, yes, I took on the thing. I sliced it and then I kind of sauteed them in a pan to bring up the turkey breast so it didn't kill anybody. So, I did handle undercooked turkey breast in 2025. She doesn't want you to know that. Anyway, there's
Everybody's
that.
safe because you did that, though.
Yeah, you don't want anyone to die. And I will still roll the Smokies. I mean, that's something I won't complain about. We'll roll the Smokies. And now what we've done the last few years, right, is bring plant-based sausages.
Yep.
And we'll do a vegetarian version and a regular meat murder version and roll those up. But it's just it's not the same as when we were kids, because when we were kids, we would try to set the record for who can
Yes.
eat the most Smokies. And I don't know who has that record. Do you
I
know?
thought it was me, but because nobody remembers it, it's kind of like I don't really want to claim it.
No.
But I thought it was me, and I thought it was 34.
34.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
that's what my memory says.
Well, we play this card game we call Double Dutch, but it's really called Chase the Ace. And my youngest daughter Cecilia is the historian.
Historian.
I wonder if somewhere in her notes
She might.
she might have the
Mhm.
record for most little Smokies eaten.
Yeah,
And
no,
and
she
it's
might.
not just a little Smoky, it's got to be wrapped in the
Right.
croissant. And so yeah, we'll still do that. We'll still make them. We'll still put out platefuls of those. And then mom's just been very great about trying to get some other things in there, whether it be a pastry or something that might not
Mm,
be vegan per se, but
right.
is definitely vegetarian. Those little quiches or things
Yeah, and
like
I
that.
never, obviously, I don't touch that
Yeah,
stuff
you
because
know,
it's not vegan. However, I
yeah,
never cared for that stuff, even when she did have it and I wasn't plant-based. Mostly because I had one track mind, clearly because I wanted the record, but one
yeah.
track mind for those little Smokies. And I'm like, why fill myself up when I'm trying to do one thing here?
I'm not going to get the record if I mess around with the quiche, you
Right?
know? Yeah. But yeah, then also like my oldest daughter doesn't eat little Smokies.
Yeah.
She's been pescatarian for a while now. I'd say 5, 6 years. Um, a long time. And so she doesn't indulge in that. So she likes the veggie options too.
Mm,
And then our oldest brother, he's not going to put down 20 Smokies anymore, I don't
yeah.
think.
Yeah. I think probably that is his max. It's
Yeah,
probably 20.
yeah. Be interesting to see, if we could have him, go for the record one day.
Yeah. I think the next person that's going to go for it, and this might be obvious, is going to be my son, Lennon.
Yeah,
I think he will devour them. We just have to be on count duty and see how
yeah.
many he goes for.
Someone has to keep track of this kid and how many he's doing, but you got to coach him and say, don't waste your bites on some other stuff. There might
Yeah.
be some scrumptious looking treats
Uh,
out there, but you saved just for the little Smokies. Uncle Bill's cooking them as fast as he can.
yeah.
Okay,
And
work.
thank you, by the way. Last year was our first time hosting Christmas Eve and Christmas morning, traditionally it's always been, well, not always, but
Yeah.
in most recent years has been mom and dad's house. Once mom moved down to San Diego, I guess we've taken it on for the foreseeable future until we moved to Vegas. Wink, wink, oldest brother, to host. But thank you. Last year I came down with like the flu or something the night before, and
Mm.
I couldn't do anything. And so I know you were baking machine last year, so I appreciate it, which you normally are at mom's
Yeah,
house.
because
But I
I'm
appreciate you doing
sorry.
it at my house too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have the routine down. I know you take the strip, you cut it into threes, and you roll them up. It's just like you don't get a whole croissant, guys. So these are
Yeah.
pigs in a blanket. So you
Yep.
got to you got to slice that. These are Pillsbury croissants. You could find them in the can. It's fun to open because they pop, and you get that pop sound, and then you roll them out. And then you cut the perforated. Then you
Yeah.
cut that little triangle into three, and then you roll them up. It's a lot
And
of
I
fun.
want to say dad would cut like either an end off or the like somewhere he would stretch it so
No,
that
I
he
don't
had
know about
another look.
that.
He would have another sliver, and then he would make his slivers into like an extra one
I don't know because I'm doing the dad technique of three,
of
right?
three,
That's
right,
yeah, that's
which is already
the
a stretch.
yeah, you're cutting it down into a third. So, you know, but that is the tradition for Christmas morning. It's been going on forever. We've just kind of updated a little bit, and this is easy for anybody looking to, you know, eat less meat. There are other options for you. If you have a tradition that involves eating animals for the holidays, you don't have to. You can find another
Mhm.
way around it. So that's one thing we'd like to tell you about. And then is getting into going kind of back to Christmas Eve, saying we don't have a set tradition, but I love the burrito bar, the baked potato bar, these kinds of things. Allow people to do it their way, and people
Yeah,
can add bacon onto it if they want to or not. You can do
yeah,
your own thing, and mom's been very good about getting like vegan sour cream or vegan cheese or something to top
right.
those things off with. So it's been great. But as far as the holidays go, looking forward to Christmas as it comes around the corner, and you know have
I was gonna
are
say, what do
you
you want to do for this Christmas? We haven't even
yeah, I don't
discussed it.
think
I
we
don't
should
even. We should have
discuss it on
discussed
this
it at
show.
Thanksgiving. Ah,
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. But I do have some bad news I will let out live here. Not live, it's taped, but people are going to find out for the first time right now is that my youngest daughter needs to get on a bus at 6 a.m. on Christmas.
on Christmas morning at 6 a.m. Where's she going?
New Mexico.
Wow, for a tournament, just for fun? Are you going to tell us why, or is it a secret?
Yeah. The
Uh,
San Diego State University Aztecs are going to a bowl game, and we're going
okay.
to the illustrious New Mexico Bowl on the 27th
Low
of
Aztecs.
yeah, 27th of December. So she's on the color guard as part
Uh-huh.
of the band, and she needs to go out there early to partake in different events. I don't know what events they're going to have going on, but it's going to cause her to leave very early on Christmas morning. So it means she might have to leave early on Christmas Eve to get a few hours
Right.
of sleep,
Right.
and then make her way out to New Mexico for about 3 days of nonstop uh, football bowl fun. So they'll
Wow.
probably practice on the field and everything else like that. And maybe who knows? Maybe they'll be in a parade or something. That
Yeah.
you know, kind of like New Mexico, Albuquerque's version of the Pasadena Rose Tournament of Roses. You know,
Just like it on Christmas Day, perhaps at 6 a.m. leaving. Well, maybe Christmas night.
or maybe on the 26th, the day before the
Yeah.
game, they
So that
they
they're
do
already
some kind of
there.
something. I don't know, but yeah, that's going to come out. But
That's
we'll
disappointing
see.
news.
Yeah. So now everyone knows it's out in the open. Let's get to some fun things. And not just the food, but Christmas Eve has been a party forever. I can say that's
Yes.
been a tradition that we've done. And it all started with grandma and hosting, and then it came over to our house for a while and stayed at mom and dad's house forever. And what are some of the things that we do on Christmas Eve to get ready for Santa.
To get ready for Santa? Well, I
Yeah.
was just gonna say, well, I was gonna ask you a totally separate question, but I don't know where you're leading me on that particular question, but I know just play some games, card games for sure. And so usually involves so Uno, Chase the Ace, as you said, or what we call Double Dutch. And something we used to do, but I think it's really just the ladies now that are drinking, and maybe our oldest brother. So you and I obviously aren't. My kids aren't. So there would usually be drinking involved, especially at Grandma's Day. It was like an actual party, a party of sorts. Maybe
Hmm.
I'll partake in a beer or two the last few Christmases. This Christmas, not planning on it. Maybe a non-alcoholic beer or something like that. Maybe I say that, but I haven't touched a non-alcoholic beer in forever either. So yeah, it would be something like that. And then just music, laughs, chatter, jokes, fun. And then what's the other game? The numbers game. That's the other game.
Yeah, that numbers game is always a lot of fun. It's just like there's a pick a number between 1 and 1,000, which is weird to say because you can pick one, but you can't pick 1,000. So then we always
Yeah.
have to preface that between 0 and a
Zero.
thousand. Yeah. And then whoever gets the number is the winner, and they're out of the game. And then we keep track of who wins, and every year. And our oldest brother is a very serious competitor at this, and he likes to win because if you're the winner, you get to be the first one to pick a number
Yeah.
the next year. So that's
It's
something
like
that
picking
goes
twice.
on. Yeah, it will. When you win, you don't get to pick a number though. That's the
That's
problem
true.
because
That's
you're the
true.
winner. And that's what sucks about coming in second is that you don't get to pick a number and you don't get to go first the next year. You're better
Oh,
off coming in third, you know?
yeah. Good point.
Yeah, but there's a lot of fun. One thing that I like to do is track Santa on the internet. You can find him and find out where he is and find out where he's going and talk about that. Having now it's great that we still have two little kids, and hopefully getting them ready, getting them to bed early.
Yeah,
So,
right. Good luck this
so
year. They're gonna also want to wake up very early too. We'll have
yeah,
to negotiate our times with
well,
them.
that's been going on since the dawn of time. I mean, it was us as kids, and then like the age gap between our oldest and you is quite big, quite large,
Right,
and so we had a little kid there the whole time, and then before you know it, like when you're a teenager, I had my first child, and then
right.
so then we had my children coming along, and as my children became teenagers, then you had children, and
Yeah,
so we've had these little kids running around Christmas. It's like we haven't been able to have that adult boring Christmas. It's always a lot of fun with the kids and everything else like that.
it is.
But playing the games, getting excited, listening to music, all the different Christmas carols, or if we are lucky enough, put on the cassette of Dance Mix too. That was a really, full of tasty jams,
Epic,
as some people like to
epic.
say.
So tasty, so tasty.
And
What about a Christmas movie? Do you have a favorite? Or I know we have some
oh,
traditions in our family.
yeah, I mean, the truth is, nothing beats A Christmas Story for me. It
Yep.
came out when I was about the age of the main character in the
Yeah.
movie, Ralphie's age, and I remember seeing it in the movie theaters and just dying laughing, and then having to go back like the next week and watch it again. I can't remember
Yeah.
if I saw it once with my brothers or something, and then Mike Marquez, kid lived down the street in Culver City. He hadn't seen it, so we got grandma to take him to it or something. I can't remember exactly how it
Yeah.
worked, but I know I saw it twice, and it was just hilarious. And it'll run all year. I mean, not all year, but like all day.
Yeah.
And it's just a classic, in my opinion. I don't know if it really holds up for the younger generation. I mean,
Uh,
you're
we
probably more of
we
like a Christmas vacation guy, right?
No, no, no.
Oh,
Christmas Story is definitely on our list. We watch a lot of them,
mhm.
and then the kids gravitate to some that they really enjoy and not, but they just love being able to watch movies. So we watched A Christmas Story over this last weekend,
Okay.
and they loved it as usual. I think it's a riot, which I look at it through adult eyes, and the writing is very like it's very descriptive, like vocabulary and the like. I'm like, which like the nuances of the jokes too are very adult in so many ways, but through their lens they get a kick out of "Don't shoot your eye out" and all the kind of the goofy stuff that happens all along. But yeah, no, Christmas Story is the one I immediately thought of our family kind of tradition.
And a very important thing, and we're just not going to play, Ebert and Siskel here, but I think the best comedies or the best quote unquote kids movies have that nuance
Yeah,
that might go over a kid's head, but make the adults laugh out loud.
yeah,
And
that's
Shrek
true.
is not a Christmas movie, but I think Shrek was brilliant at doing this, in
Yeah.
certain things that were right up here. And
Yeah.
you get these people going, but yeah, a Christmas Story I think is right there. Now, are you a person who has to see It's a Wonderful Life every year?
I do like to watch it, but I don't have to. It's not like on the must. I think for me, because if you talk about my generation, same as you and Ralphie, it was Home Alone, and Kevin McAllister was my age when that
Yeah.
movie came out, or right around that. And so like that's kind of like my movie for my generation. And so like that is always the first one we watch is Home Alone and Home Alone 2. After that, I don't know if you know this, but they made like a 3, a 4, and maybe a 5. Horrible trash. They really started stretching it. But 1 and 2, I absolutely love. So we also watched those this weekend too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first Home Alone was a really good movie. I thought, it was hilarious, but sometimes watching it over and over again, it's just like, how much pain can Joe
Yeah,
Pesci and this other guy, what's his name,
Daniel
Daniel
Stern.
Stern, can they endure? It's like you're gonna fall for this again,
Yeah.
and it's like, come on,
Well,
whatever.
I just love watching it now as an adult of like how he's talking to his mom. I'm like, holy cow! Like, can't imagine that.
Well, he's a
My kid,
punk.
if my kids talk to my wife like that,
Yeah. No, Kevin was a punk, but I think
huge
he
fan.
learned something though, right?
It's a
That's the whole
lesson.
point of the movie is this kid who is just is not appreciative enough of his family.
Right.
And geez, kid, you're living in a $200 billion home for crying out loud. Your family can fly to France for Christmas. I mean, come on, you
With
know
their 12 kids.
with 12 kids. I mean, yeah, what did the father do for a living? That's the things that bother me about these movies now looking back is like, what was this guy a drug dealer? I mean, what the heck is he doing?
I think it was a two income household, which back in the day wasn't always the case.
Okay. Yeah, maybe the mom was the breadwinner. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? But then how do you lose the kid again? How does New York happen? You know what I mean?
It's yeah, it definitely even number two is a stretch when it comes to storyline, but it's very much the I don't know if it's necessarily slapstick comedy with like the bad guys getting beaten up like you said.
Mm.
But that is the I think the funny part that my kids still really enjoy about it is that funny stuff getting smashed in the face with an iron, and a hot iron at that, right? That they just start cracking up, they crack up about, right?
Yeah.
But now, of course, as an adult, you're right about that. Like I can watch it once and I'm good. Christmas Story I could watch probably multiple times during the holidays. And as an adult, like I don't know if you watch anything just with your wife Sabrina, but for us, it's The Holiday and Love Actually are kind of like two like holiday movies, and we watched The Holiday, but my wife Latanya just keeps falling asleep like at the same part. So I've watched it twice now. She hasn't
Wow.
watched it once.
No, with my wife and I, her favorite Christmas movie, without a doubt, hands
Oh,
down,
I know it already. Yeah. Yeah.
is
Oh gosh, well now it totally escapes me, but it's with Bruce Willis. It's Die Hard. There it is.
Die Hard. It's Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's seen that a million times, and I don't know if we'll watch it together, but we'll see what happens. And that's it. But we were talking about traditions, holidays, about adapting, about our journeys as a family, and different things we've been doing. And I think the movies are a big part of that. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens on this journey as we continue to get older, as our children continue to get older, and seeing what happens there. But Merry Christmas to all of you.
Yes.
And we're so happy that you could watch this episode. Actually, got it out before Christmas, so you could get ready too. And you could Google all different ways to make a wonderful vegan Christmas spread. Okay.
All right. Have a good one. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Peace.
Christmas. Peace.